guys, I am here to make a video for you guys on Lockheed. Ticker will be LMT. Today we had a very nice opportunity for the long side on this one. I will show you guys exactly why I believe this is a very solid setup for the next couple of months. I don't want to get into detail on how exactly I got my levels. This is basically just to tell you guys why, where I am buying calls, and what my target is, what my plan is basically. So, bigger picture wise, Lockheed looks very solid, a very nice long uptrend. We've had a 100 plus point pullback the last few months. This is good because over the year of 2024 we've had a nice breakout, and this 3-month pullback that we've been having is providing a nice opportunity for a retrace, which is good for bulls. Now going back here on the weekly chart, which gives us a better picture than the monthly. So we have a old range over here. These levels are old. But this big range right here topped out right here at 508. Okay. This is where we hit the high. Eventually we broke out over it by another 100 plus points, 118 points. We pull back right back to the previous range high at 508. So this is basically a back test, a classic textbook move right here on Lockheed. Now we are over here on a multi-month sell-off, approaching SMAs on the weekly, especially the 50 SMA on the weekly, which is not a very strong use of the SMA on the weekly. The best way to use it is on the daily. But for today, we did hit the SMA 200, which is the biggest SMA on the or the strongest SMA on your daily chart. We did lose a few points below it today, which is not a very big deal. Typically, we will see a very a bounce right off of the 200 SMA, or we dip below it by a few points. The next couple of days, we recover it. But in this case, there is a buffer support on Lockheed at 498, which is the main support. So Lockheed has a very nice opportunity for long-term, well, not necessarily long-term, but at least a month to 3 months, depending on how quick this can make a reversal off of the 508 to 498. So what I did was today I started my my position in Lockheed on March calls. So instead of adding a full size for normally what I do, I went with 1/3 of the size for now, and saved the other 2/3 of my capital in case it dips to 498. It is not cheap with Lockheed. Lockheed is pretty expensive. It is pretty illiquid as well, so options on your spread on your options might be wide. So be careful of your entry. Make sure you are paying attention to your bid and ask. Now, the reason why I got March calls is because this whole move right here started back in October. We are in December, about 2 months. Okay, this reversal might take a month or two. It's not going to be 5, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month. It could take 1 month. Depends on if there's any catalyst or something that comes out. But what I like to do with my rule is take however long the period of a initial move was. For example, this whole downtrend move took around 3 months. Now I'm either going to match my expiration to the 3 months, give myself 90 days out, or I can split that in half for shorter term targets. So for example, my targets over here at 540 and 530, which is around 25 to 25 to 35 points. And this whole move went from 618 to 500. Okay, that's 118 points. I'm only looking around a $25 to $35 move on Lockheed. So let's say I split 3 months in half. I got 1.5 months. That's around 45 days, 45, 50 days. You can buy yourself February calls, or even stick with March calls to be safe. Lockheed's not cheap again. The setup looks very solid. I do plan on adding more to my calls tomorrow, as long as we defend the 498 level at open and throughout the day tomorrow. Thankfully, we do have 24-hour trading now, which does not apply to options. But right now, the recovery is looking very nice. It did dip after hours to 483, which was below my support, but that's after hours. After hours does not really mean much. But as long as we defend that 498 at open and throughout the day tomorrow, I am going to add probably more or full size to my March calls on this one. And since I have March calls, I'm not going to look for something in the next few days, 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm going to stick with my plan on what I got from this initial move. 3 months divided in half, 45 days. That's going to be a good amount of time of a reversal for 530 and 540. Again, not everything in the market is guaranteed. So don't expect these targets to hit on the dot, or don't even expect your targets to hit within the time. It might take longer, but let's say, for example, you got your calls over here at 498. You can switch your targets to shorter term. Look for smaller supply demand zone somewhere right here. You can be 518, 520, 525, whatever you find your supply demand zones, or from your Fibonacci tool, or your extension targets, whatever you do. But this right here is my setup, and I'm going to stick to it. As long as we see a reversal off of 498 and we defend it, I'm going to keep my March calls on Lockheed. As long as we make a strong reversal and we make a move higher, I will start to scale out of my calls for profits and re-enter in a new position when there's a new smaller setup in the middle of the day or overnight or something. So that's my plan on Lockheed. It's a very nice chart. It does have a lot of sensitive news related with war and a little bit of politics side. So this may or may not work out, but I am going to trust my chart. The chart looks very good. If you guys have any questions or anything, any opinions, any feedback, let me know. I'll be happy to help. That's all for the video. I'll see you guys next video. Thank you for watching.